Happy Friday, and we can sure use a happy Friday, couldn't we? It is the 27th day of March, 2020. It is a Friday. And I am Dan Kuntz. Thanks for starting your day here with your local TV station. That's us, the NCW Life Channel. We are back at it again. Again, as I mentioned a couple of times earlier in the week, everybody is working here at the television broadcast Metroplex. We're doing it in a way that we've never had to deal with before. Many coworkers are working at home. We have the capability of doing that. Eric has been doing his sports reports entirely from home. He's doing what we're supposed to be doing, physically distancing ourselves as much as possible from one another. Some of us, of course, have to be here because we can't broadcast without a studio. So here I am in a Studio A. So we're cobbling it together. We're hanging in there. We hope you are too. We'll have your latest COVID-19 related news from a local perspective coming up when we get to the news. We had a beautiful weekend last weekend. That's not going to be the case, I'm afraid, this weekend. Mother Nature is not going to be kind to us this weekend. Sorry about that. Forecast details are coming up. But basically, it's typical March weather. It's going to be a little wet at times. It's going to be cloudy at times, a few sun breaks, a little windy. If you've lived around here for any period of time, you're kind of used to that kind of stuff. We also have some sports. We finally, now that we have a general idea, provided, of course, that high schools and all the area schools go back to school on Monday, April 27th, provided that happens, we now have our spring broadcast schedule ready to roll that out. We'll do that for you. Plus everything you're used to on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll have an obscure holiday, some celebrity birthdays, today in history segment. Mike McKnighty's got an opinion, and in case you missed it earlier in the week, we're going to rebroadcast my conversation with Bonnie Orr, the Dirt Diva, of course, now that we're into spring. The vernal equinox has come and gone. We'll have the do's and don'ts of spring gardening and spring lawn care. Get your lawn and garden ready to go for the upcoming growing season. So we got some good stuff for you. And at 3 minutes after the hour, let's do what we always do. Let's take you around North Central Washington and the Wenatchee Valley with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of the Sky-Fi Network and Local Tel. And that's what we're looking at right now, cloudy skies, and that's what we're going to have off and on for most of the day today. Well, we will see some sun breaks. It's also going to be a little bit warmer. We hit 53 on Thursday. Our normal high would be 57, so we were a little cooler than normal for the afternoon high. And our overnight low was cooler than normal. We got down to 31, and our normal would be 37. Sun's been up for about 15 minutes now. Sunrise was 6:48 this morning. Sunset tonight, 7:24, 12 hours and 36 minutes of daylight. So hello Wenatchee, hello East Wenatchee, hello Sunny Slope, hello Birch Mountain, hello Badger Mountain, and here we go. And boy, traffic is just unbelievably light. There's a couple of times where it just seems like we're in a ghost town. People are adhering to the stay-at-home directives, and that's good. That's what we want to see us, which is, public health is important. It's right now the important thing. Camera number 2. We're off to see Lake Chelan from the Bear Mountain camera? I don't know. What am I looking at, Megan? Yeah, that is the Bear Mountain camera. I thought so, because you can see Wapato Point sticking out there. So hello to our friends in the Chelan area. Of course, the Bear Mountain Golf Course is closed. All the golf courses are closed. They're not considered essential. So for somebody like me, it's kind of a bummer, but I understand certainly why the golf courses are closed. It makes perfect sense, but still kind of a bummer. Anyway, good morning, Lake Chelan. Good to see you. Camera number 3. Where are we off to? We're off to see, that's the Omi Gardens camera in an angle we haven't used before, I don't think. Omi Gardens is to the right. We call that the Omi Gardens camera. Now you can almost see Omi Gardens. You normally can't from that view. So tucked behind that outcropping is the Wenatchee Valley. You can kind of make out the Stimmel campus, and to the far left, of course, is the Otabashian Bridge, and still some snow, of course, in the upper elevations. The upper elevations are going to get some snow, as a matter of fact, this weekend into the early part of next week, as are the mountain passes. Again, those details are on the way. And finally, camera number 4. Let's say hello to I don't know. Help me out, Megan. Oh, the Manson Water Tower. Come on, Dan, pay attention. Pay attention, the Manson Water Tower. So Manson is down there, and then, of course, Lake Chelan off in the distance. And Chelan is way, way off in the distance. You can see the Chelan Butte, obviously. It kind of sticks out there a little bit, where we have any number of cameras on the Chelan Butte. We have a lower Butte camera, an upper Butte camera, obviously the Bear Mountain camera that you just saw, and now our Manson Water Tower camera. And again, all of these cameras are on Sky-Fi towers, which means if you can see any of these towers from your home or your cabin or whatever it may be, you could be eligible for Sky-Fi, which means high-speed internet, no fiber technology. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing, although a bit scary at times for a few people. 6 minutes after the hour, let's give you a slide with the National Weather Service sent to me that I'm sending to you. And again, unsettled weather ahead. For today, we're going to be kind of just there. It's going to be cloudy, no real rain. As you can see, the Idaho Panhandle is going to get a little bit of light snow. Mountains are going to get a little bit of light snow. Well, here in the Wenatchee Valley, we're not expecting any real snow at all, although Leavenworth and Plain could get a dusting or two. And then over the weekend, as you can see, it's going to be a little rainy at times, going to be a little breezy at times. At snow level right at the Stevens Pass area, right about 4,000 feet. So Stevens Pass is going to get a little bit of snow, so look out. And then as we go back to work on Monday, or back wherever it is that we're going to be on Monday, may not be work, some rain in the Wenatchee Valley, some snow, and a little bit of wind. So it's basically unsettled. That's what we have. It's an active weather pattern. In fact, let's get into some specifics, shall we? Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug, and they're the sponsor of the weather forecast. And here we go. Mostly cloudy, a couple of sun breaks here and there. That's really about it. We'll get up to about 58 degrees. Wind will be out of the west about 5 to 10 miles an hour today. Clouds tonight, no rain in the forecast, about 37 for the overnight low. Again, a little breezy at times. Wind out of the west about 5 to 9 miles an hour. Saturday, lots of clouds. Could get a little bit of rain on Saturday afternoon, just a skosh warmer, about 60. And again, breezy at times. West wind about 5 to 11 miles an hour on Saturday. Saturday night, chance of rain goes up to 40%. Wouldn't be surprised if we wake up Sunday morning to some rain. The rain that we're expecting, if it comes, will be early Sunday morning, overnight, Saturday night, lots of clouds. Overnight low of about 40. Sunday, chance of some morning rain, slight chance of some afternoon rain. Certainly cloudy, no sun expected at all on Sunday. And wind will be out of the west about 6 to 11 miles an hour. About a 40% chance of rain Saturday night, and that spills into Sunday. Chance of rain Sunday night at about 20%, overnight low right around 37, 38. Monday, lots of clouds, best chance of rain. In fact, we are going to get some rain, it looks like. The computer models are pretty much in agreement on that. We'll get up to about 56 with rain on Monday. And then Monday night, the chance of rain goes down to about 50%, but it's still obviously a good chance of rain. Lots of clouds, 37 for the overnight low. And then finally, the sun will be back on Tuesday. Under partly cloudy skies, we'll get up to about 56 degrees, but again, can't rule out some rain, especially on Tuesday morning. Tuesday night, the chance of rain in the overnight hours is about 20%, 34 for the overnight low. Wednesday, 55 with a few sun breaks, and then 55 again on Thursday. So a little bit warmer on Saturday and Sunday than what we've been having, but for the most part, those afternoon highs are just a little bit below normal, and the overnight lows pretty much right around normal. So unsettled, active, certainly nothing like we had last weekend with all the sunshine and the near record warmth that is now gone 180 degrees the other way. So there's your forecast. From the National Weather Service, it's 9 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break, so go grab your cup of coffee or whatever it is that you need. Come right back and join us. Pass cameras, thank you. Yeah, let's do that. I almost forgot, Megan. Thank you. Let's go to the mountain passes. It is snowing on I-90, but it's not sticking to the roadway. No advisories, no restrictions. A tad foggy and cloudy, but outside of that, you're okay. No advisories, no restrictions, just some light snow. Stevens does have a traction tire advisory because that snow is sticking a little bit to the pavement. So they have a traction tire advisory. You have some snow and slush on the roadway at the very summit of Stevens Pass. And again, traction tires are advised. You're good to go on Blewett. Roadway is mostly bare and dry. No advisories, no restrictions. They're going to get a couple of inches of snow today. Basically 2 to 3 inches of snow during the day, 2 to 3 inches of snow during the night. No significant snow event expected in the mountain passes until we get to Monday. Monday, they're going to get quite a bit of snow. They're anywhere from, they were thinking 5 to 6 inches of snow in a continuous basis on Monday in the Cascades, but it's kind of going to be hit and miss snow showers over the weekend if you're traveling over the river and through the woods. Now we'll take that 1-minute break and come back with your news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I am a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bombfile Boats and Motors. Now you can fish like a pro without breaking the bank thanks to the ProMag aluminum fishing boat by Smokercraft. Talk about social distancing. You can be a champion on the water, all alone, fishing. And with low interest rates and lowering gas prices, now's the perfect time to buy. See the Smokercraft line of boats at Bombfile Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bombfile.com.
We're back just past 11 minutes after the hour. We have overcast skies and 43 degrees outside of a few sun breaks. Going to be cloudy today, dry, but mostly cloudy skies will be up in the mid-50s. And we're looking at fairly cloudy skies, intermittent rain, just a few sun breaks and breezy conditions on Saturday and Sunday. And here's your news. Of course, as you know by now, the U.S. Senate unanimously passing a $2 trillion COVID-19 relief bill that happened late Wednesday night. That money's going to provide for health care efforts, small businesses, state governments, and almost every American. The bill means a $1,200 check for most people, plus $500 per child for families. The House is expected to approve the bill later on today, and that means Americans should begin receiving their checks within 3 weeks. You'll get your money sooner if you have direct deposit with the IRS. Now, in addition, unemployment checks will be boosted by $600 per week. Washington Senator Maria Cantwell said the money is desperately needed in our state. Of course, our state was where the first U.S. coronavirus case happened.
Because the state of Washington desperately needs this help. When I think about this package that literally has been crafted since Saturday about 10 o'clock and people running to go and collaborate, and yes, there were many challenges to that collaboration, I also think about the people who are on the front line in the state of Washington who have paid such a heavy price. From the factory worker we just lost in Everett, Washington, to the COVID-19 disease, to the grocer at the Leschi grocery store who was just trying to help deliver groceries to a needed public, to the pathologist at the University of Washington who was a leader in this field but also lost his life. Real sacrifice and real crushing blows have been dealt in this disease. But today, we are responding with more help for our state. We are giving them more money for hospitals, more money for the front line with protective gear, more money for testing, and more money to support them as they continue the effort to try to stop this disease.
Here are the latest numbers as of this Friday morning from the Washington State Department of Health. Yesterday, we had 627 newly confirmed cases. That means our statewide total so far, 3,207. 147 people have died. Of course, the bulk of those cases still King County. King County has seen 1,577 people diagnosed with COVID-19. 109 people in King County have died. Like every district throughout the state of Washington, local schools have been closed, of course, since March 17th to help stop the spread of coronavirus. But one program keeps going. Our very own Jefferson Robbins reports that school lunches are providing some continuity during these trying times.
You ready to come back to school? Yeah? We miss you. I bet Dad will carry the milk for you.
When kids show up each day at Columbia Elementary to collect their lunch, Nani Island knows most of them by name.
So I have a sandwich and a cine mini in here. Cucumbers or celery, fish crackers. So there's a little bit of everything.
She's been kitchen lead here for 3 years, and her work didn't stop when schools were closed by Governor Jay Inslee's order to protect public health.
We've been handing out about 170.
At schools around Wenatchee and in every north central Washington school district, lunch is now free to every child up to age 18, whether a student or not. Buses deliver meals to some locations, and school kitchens like Columbia's are open daily for pickup.
Are you hungry today? Yeah? Here you go, bud. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, right?
Jordan Jones grabbed lunch this week for 4 of his 7 kids, ages 6 years old down to 18 months. His oldest boy is a Columbia student.
It's a nice little break from the being caged up in the house, so it's been kind of nice to be able to just come down here, and as you see, it's a nice day, so it's able to get some wiggles out. You know, still having a presence at the school is nice, so they can keep that, I guess, familiar in their minds.
The free school meal programs run through April 24th, when the governor's closure order expires. After that, classes will either reopen with an option to run through June 19th, or choose another route if coronavirus still poses a public health threat.
Thank you. See you guys tomorrow. Bye, buddy. Bye, Chloe.
Jefferson Robbins, NCW Life.
Thank you, Jefferson, for that report. With ridership down about 40% following the governor's stay-at-home order, Link Transit is going to be reducing the frequency of their weekday service on a lot of routes, and it all begins on Monday. The frequency of their A, B, and C routes will be reduced from every 15 minutes to every 30 minutes. Several other routes will be reduced from every 30 minutes to every hour. And in addition, the Leavenworth shuttle is going to cease operations altogether. The schedule changes are for weekdays only, with the exception of the Leavenworth shuttle. Now, Link says it expects to have their final route reduction schedule available by late this afternoon. That new schedule will then be available on their website, linktransit.com, or you can call Link directly at 662-1155. The Washington State Patrol doing their best to try and clear up rumors about what they're doing. In response to Governor Jay Inslee's stay-at-home order, Trooper Chris Thornson is the District 3 PIO, Public Information Officer for the State Patrol, and, well, he says, don't listen to the rumors.
Hello, Trooper Thorson with the Washington State Patrol. They wanted to quash some rumors going around Washington State that troopers are specifically stopping cars to question and interrogate people about where they're going or what they're doing, or if they're essential employees. That is not true. Also, our borders between Idaho and Oregon and Washington State are open. They are not closed at all. We are not doing any checkpoints. So please help us spread the word. Thanks.
Thank you. 18 minutes after the hour, state money is rolling in for local efforts against coronavirus. Chelan and Douglas counties have to share about $72,000 awarded by the State Department of Commerce. Grant and Adams counties get $145,000. Okanagan County, they're going to get about $101,000. The money can be used for various purposes in the pandemic response, including food and rental assistance, small business support, health services. The counties must submit a local distribution plan to the state before the money is authorized. In other news, a Wenatchee man allegedly threatened his former partner with a knife and chased her into her place of work. This happened on Wednesday. Matthew William Fishborn is in custody. Wenatchee police caught up with him. He allegedly confronted the woman as she arrived at her job at Safeway on Wednesday morning. He displayed a knife, according to the police, tried to take her phone, and then followed her into the store. That's when she called police from her cell phone. Investigators say they found the knife he used in a garbage can outside of Safeway. Fishborn is 34 years old. He faces possible charges of harassment, kidnapping, burglary, attempted robbery, and assault. And finally this morning, amid the work restrictions that are plaguing local government, Chelan County has hired a new community development director. His name is Jim Brown. He was the director of the State Department of Fish and Wildlife's North Central region for 7 years. He spent 28 years with the Department of Fish and Wildlife. He's scheduled to start April 23rd at Community Development, where he oversees building permits and zoning for the county. He replaces David Kuhl, who left that job at the end of February. And that's what's making news on this Friday morning. The news team, some working at home, some working here, will be putting together another newscast for you so you can find out what's going on. We like to keep our viewers in the loop as much as possible. And you can watch it at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. With the preview, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, a GoFundMe account has been set up to assist the family of Paulina Mosqueda. She's the young woman whose remains were found last week near Horse Lake Trail. I'll have your warm and a bit wet North Central Washington weekend weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will have a look at sports. That and more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. Hope you'll join us then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. I make a point to watch the news every night. I hope you do too. And if you have a news tip, you want to drop us a note, you just want to say hi, We try and give you all the tools that are available in the toolbox. Almost all of it, of course, is internet related. First of all, you can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com. ncwlife.com is also our website. If you go to that, you'll see a Contact Us icon at the top of the screen. Click on that. The form pops up. You fill out the form, and we get it. Or you can go to our Facebook page. If you so desire, give us a big old thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. And then go to Facebook Messenger and drop us a line that way. We'll get it. I guarantee you. 21 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. Whatever sports we have, we'll have for you, plus the obscure holiday, today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Mike McKnighty's got an opinion and my conversation with the Dirt Diva, Bonnie Orr. In these trying times, in these cabin fever shutting kind of stuff, maybe you can go out and get a head start on your lawn and your garden for spring 2020. We'll talk about that with Bonnie coming up in the back half of the hour. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Owner Andrew Vickery brings years of experience to help you transition your backyard into a place where memories are made, family time is looked forward to, and friends are always welcome. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa offers many different styles and sizes of artesian spas, both new and used, as well as residential and commercial pool and spa services, regular maintenance and repairs, and all the chemicals required to keep your pool and spa crystal clear. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa today.
The world around us is constantly changing. Major employers in North Central Washington have expressed a need for capable, qualified engineering technologists who can think critically and solve problems. And at Wenatchee Valley College, we listened. We are pleased to offer a Bachelor of Applied Science Engineering Technology degree to provide you with a world of new opportunities. Your time is now. The future is waiting for you.
We're back at 22 minutes after the hour. Let's talk sports. Of course, the NFL draft will go on as scheduled, April 23rd, 24th, and 25th. That's Commissioner Roger Goodell. He issued a league-wide memo yesterday. It wasn't for public consumption, but ESPN's Adam Schefter actually got a copy of the memo. And he reports that Mr. Goodell also warning against criticizing the league's stance. Schefter quoted the memo from Goodell, and I'm quoting now. Public discussion of issues relating to the draft serve no useful purpose and is grounds for disciplinary action. End quote. Good to see Roger Goodell still has his fiefdom to worry about. Apparently, Goodell acknowledges that there would be significant changes. He told teams to prepare to conduct the draft outside of team facilities and with a limited number of people. The NFL draft was supposed to be held in Las Vegas with, of course, the big audience watching and all the draft picks in attendance. That is not going to happen. Major League Baseball has agreed that players are going to get a full season's salary even if the 2020 season is shortened. The league and the Major League Baseball Players Association came to the agreement yesterday. That's according to ESPN's Jeff Bassun. Right now, the working model is for teams to return to training camps in mid-May, start playing games in early June, even if there are no fans in attendance. All right, local sports. We'll begin our wild weekend tonight on the NCW Life channel. We're going to broadcast 5 games over 3 days as the Wenatchee Wild take on the Merritt Centennials. Art Jecker had the call on a crazy back-and-forth contest.
Wild will be back home next weekend for the pair of games against the Penticton V's. There's Hunter Hastings with it back beside the net, and he scores! Hunter Hastings walked out of the left corner, stepped out in front, and just muscled it home underneath Marshall. Pass ahead was for Caffarelli, turned over, in, shot, and a score. The leading scorer for the Wild with a great opportunity. There's a backhander, and Grabel shoves it home. Back to the point, Bavaro to Young. Young, shot, score! From the left circle, ripped it across the body, over the pad, under the glove, inside the post on the long side. Rollison's in, Seltzer's it across, shot, and a score. Daniel Tack. Rollison from the right side. Nobody had Tack going up on the left wing. And now gathered by Rollison. He's got help on the far side, and a score. Galloway was driving up the left side. Rollison picked it up on the right wing.
That was just the first two periods. You can watch the entire game tonight at 7 o'clock right here on the NCW Life channel. Tomorrow, we're going to double up. We'll have a couple of games between the V's and the Wild, Penticton and Wenatchee, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock again on Saturday. On Sunday, the 2 o'clock game will be the Wild and Prince George Spruce Kings. The 7 o'clock game Sunday night, Wenatchee and Nanaimo. Speaking of schedules, we have a preliminary broadcast schedule for the prep games coming up in May, if in fact there are prep games coming up in May. Right now, our broadcast schedule would include an Eastmont softball doubleheader on Saturday, May 2nd at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. That is provided if there isn't an Apple Blossom Grand Parade. If there is a parade, obviously we won't be televising those softball games. Then we'll have Moses Lake at Eastmont Soccer on Tuesday, May 5th. 2 nights later, we'll be at the Apple Bowl for Wenatchee Lacrosse against Southridge at 7. Then we'll broadcast the Wenatchee and Eastmont boys soccer match on Saturday, May 9th at 1 o'clock. The following Wednesday, we'll be at Recreation Park for Wenatchee and Moses Lake baseball at 5. The broadcast will air following the news at 6:30. The next night, we'll be at Wildcat Stadium for Eastmont and Eisenhower soccer at 7. Then we finish off our schedule Saturday, May 16th with Eastmont and Wenatchee softball at Walla Walla Point Park at 1 o'clock. And then we'll hightail it across the river to Dan White Field for Wenatchee and Eastmont baseball at 5. All of this, of course, is contingent that they go back to school on Monday, April 27th. And those are just some of the games that people aren't playing. On this Friday at 27 minutes after the hour, the obscure holiday today it's National Joe Day. It's an excuse to change your name to Joe or just call everybody Joe. Joe's a good name. So just for today, it's National Joe Day. And if your name is actually Joe, this is a super special day for you, National Joe Day. Change your name to Joe, just for the day today if you want to. Famous Joes, Joe DiMaggio, Joe Namath, Joe Biden, Joe Torre, Joe Lewis, Joe Cool, Sloppy Joe. Happy National Joe Day today. I start out my day with a cup of Joe. There you go. So I'm in the spirit. Let's do Today in History on this 27th day of March. Boy, England dropped the ball big time. You know, I have a tendency to give them a bad time, but boy, you talk about an opportunity missed here. It was on March 27th, 1625, 395 years ago, that Charles I became the King of England. He was also the King of Scotland and Ireland. He claimed the title of King of France. He was the King of England for 25 years. Then he was executed. That's what they did back in those days. When they got tired of you, they just cut off your head and moved on. But when he was executed and his reign ended, the British actually did away with the monarchy. They got rid of it. They said, this is stupid. Why don't we have kings and queens? They actually got rid of the monarchy after Charles I was executed, and then they brought it back. Ours is not to question why, I guess. Anyway, Typhoid Mary is in the news again. Mary Mallon on this day back in 1915, she was put in quarantine, and for the next 28 years, she stayed in quarantine until she died. Typhoid Mary was the first healthy carrier of typhoid. She was asymptomatic, which means that she could carry the disease, she could transmit the disease to other people. She just couldn't get it herself, and she infected, they figure around 22 people with typhoid fever. 3 of them died. The problem was she was a cook, and she kept changing jobs, and she wouldn't quit. And finally, the authorities said, enough of this stuff. You've killed 3 people, Typhoid Mary. We're putting you into quarantine. They put her into quarantine. She never came out of quarantine. That started on this date 105 years ago. The most powerful earthquake ever in North America happened on this date 56 years ago today, March 27, 1964, the Good Friday earthquake. Boy, what a shaker. 9.2 on the Richter scale. 9.2, striking south central Alaska. 125 people died. Massive damage to the city of Anchorage with subsequent tsunamis. 9.2, and it lasted a long time as well. Anchorage was all but flattened. It happened on this date 56 years ago today. And the deadliest aviation accident ever occurred on this date 43 years ago today, March 27th, 1977. And surprisingly enough, it didn't take place in the air, it took place on the ground. The Tenerife Airport disaster. 2 Boeing 747 airliners collided on a foggy runway in Tenerife in the Canary Islands up the coast of Spain. The KLM, the Dutch KLM 747 was at the top of the runway ready to take off. The other Boeing, Pan Am, was on the runway trying to get off the runway so the KLM could take off. The captain of the KLM thought he had clearance. He didn't have clearance. He decided to start his runway, his takeoff, and it collided with the Pan Am. 61 people on the Pan Am plane survived. All 248 people on the KLM plane died. So all in all, 583 people died in the worst aircraft disaster ever on this date 43 years ago. Birthdays. Quentin Tarantino. He's good. Good director, good producer. Occasionally dabbles in acting. Screenwriter. Now they say, or he said, that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood would be his last movie. He's only 57 years old. He turns 57 years old today. I hope that's not the case. That's what you hear. Of course, his breakthrough film was Reservoir Dogs. That was when you figured out this is what Quentin Tarantino does. And then, of course, he came out with Pulp Fiction, the Kill Bill series, Inglourious Bastards, and, of course, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is a great movie. Quentin Tarantino is 57 years old today. And this is going to make you feel old. Mariah Carey is 50. Mariah Carey is 50. She writes, by the way, a great deal of her own material. You got to give her credit for that. She has a tendency to oversing things. I got a 9-octave range. I'm going to show it off. Well, sometimes backing off the song, letting the song be a song instead of just overwhelming it with your voice is the way to go. But still, she's talented. Mariah Carey is 50 years old today. It's 32 minutes after the hour. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we have another opinion from Mike Mignotti. And then my conversation with Bonnie Orr, the Dirt Diva. Let's get your yard and garden in shape for spring 2020. Get yourself outside anyway, all right? My conversation with Bonnie is coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Dr. Wayne Latimer. I'm a chiropractic physician. I have postgraduate certifications in both whiplash, trauma, and rehab, as well as sports medicine. The location is great. The light and the visibility, the 17-foot ceilings are fantastic. You can go into a lot of clinics, and it's very clinical. People really like the spa environment, so my whole premise was take a spa environment, add the very serious rehab, and give people an enjoyable way to get better over time.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around north central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
It's going on 4 decades of doing business in the Wenatchee Valley. And I want people to know that it matters. It matters to me that people choose to do business with us. It matters that people trust us, trust us. That matters more than anything.
I have a hereditary bone disease from the female side of my family. My bone loss was so significant that you could almost see the roots. I became embarrassed and I started covering my mouth. Eating became very difficult as far as I stopped eating apples, corn on the cob, things that you just eat as it is without utensils. Dr. Divis was my dentist prior to having implants. We talked about traditional dentures or implants, and implants was the only way really that I could go. John Divis and all of his office staff, they checked on me throughout all the processes. I would never go anyplace else. Today, I can eat corn on the cob. I can have apples. Thanks to Dr. John Divis and his staff, I have my smile back. I feel more confident. I am me again.
This is John Divis. Let our team help you solve your dental needs.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I'm a regular churchgoer. Yeah, good for me, right? But sometimes I run into people who used to go to church, but they don't anymore, and I ask them why. And they often say something like this: I had to miss church for 3 weeks in a row, and no one called me to see if I was okay. Now, my response to them is, why do you think people go to church? They're specifically looking for you. Sure, it would be nice if we noticed other people or the lack of them more than we care about ourselves, but come on, really? Blaming other people for your deciding not to go to church is kind of lame, don't you think? This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it in the radio or seeing it in the newspaper, I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCW Life.
While it may be hard to resist those big brown eyes and pleading face, many people aren't aware that people food can be dangerous to pets. And it's not just because of the added weight gain. Some foods are downright dangerous, including chocolate. For a detailed list of dangerous foods, go online to pawsandclawsvh.com. If you suspect your pet has eaten something dangerous, please call Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff at 888-PAWS, as your pet's health is important to us.
RLS Productions is proud to bring to the NCW Life channel the Concerts in the Garden series held at Omi Gardens. The series features performances from Rare Earth's Peter Rivera, Heart by Heart, to Slim and the Taildraggers, The Infinity Project, the Wenatchee Swingin' Big Band, and a whole host of other great acts. Tune in Wednesdays at 2 and 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 10 p.m. RLS Productions Concerts in the Garden Summer Series, only on the NCW Life channel.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is spring. I love spring. Yes, the vernal equinox came and went on Thursday night at 8:49 in the evening. And that means it's time to start thinking about not only getting outside, but getting that garden into shape for the upcoming growing season. And we have one expert and one expert only to refer to that. And that is, of course, my good friend, Bonnie Orr, the Dirt Diva. Welcome back.
Good morning. Good
How
morning.
are ya? Right out of the box, I got to tell you, I got a flyer in the mail a couple days ago from a local hardware store. I'm not going to mention the name of the hardware store. I told Ace Hardware I would not mention their name. It had all the stuff. Turf builders on sale, fertilizers
everything.
on sale. Are we good? Can I go buy it and use it?
Yeah,
Okay.
the thing is that forsythia is in bloom, and that's always a sign that the soil is 50 degrees. So this is the time to put on pre-emergent, to thatch, aerate, if you haven't done it for the last 3 years, okay, and get your turf ready to go.
Okay, because my yard had a good winter. We did certainly better than last winter when it took forever for everybody's yard to get going.
That's
It's so
right.
cold.
And not very much snow mold
Yeah.
because there wasn't very much snow.
Yeah.
Not very much compaction because there wasn't any water.
Yeah,
It's really dry.
People forget about that. We're in a drought right now.
Yeah.
We're dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's be weather geeks for a
Weather
minute.
geeks, yeah. We the stats for winter, that is of course now just in the books, starting on December 21st and going through the 19th day of March. The coldest temperature we ever got here in the Wenatchee Valley was 13 degrees. That was back on January 16th. The warmest was 65 degrees, which was a record high. That was on March 4th. But here's the two things that amazed me the most. The most snow we got in one day was only about 4 inches. That was back on January 16th. And the entire snowfall for the entire year, as measured at Pangborn, 7.3 inches. That
the
was
total
it.
precipitation for
Was
the
even-
whole year
yeah.
last year. Whole total precipitation, yeah.
It's not, I mean, dry.
Yes,
Dry.
we are really dry. It's dry as dust. And so, this is I tried to check and see when the water was going to be in the ditches. They don't have that information up because they're still working on the ditches.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be taking my mulch up yet
Okay.
because you don't want to lose any more of your soil.
Whatever moisture you can trap, you want to be able
That's
to
right.
trap it.
That's right.
Is it obviously for those people who not on the irrigation ditch, they can just hook up a spigot to the side of the house? Is it way too early to water, or can you water it?
Well, you can. The thing is, you have to think about why you are watering. Okay? If you're going to be fertilizing, you're going to be watering in. I think it's too early to actually fertilize.
Okay.
I think that what you want to do right now, if you want to take care of your lawn, you want to put down a pre-emergent for crabgrass.
Mm-hmm.
And if your lawn is spongy, or if your worms have been coming up to the surface, you will probably want to either thatch or aerate. And if your worms are coming to the surface, you probably would need to consider how you are watering.
Okay.
Because soil is organic material, inorganic material, rocks and things like that, and 50% air and water. So if you are filling up that 50% of the air with extra water, the worms have nothing to breathe.
Okay.
And so that's why they come to the surface.
I understand. What else is it simply too early to do, at least for a while yet? Because people want to get out there and do it, but they shouldn't be doing it yet. Some of those. Give me some examples.
Okay, this is the perfect time because we are all home, right?
Yeah.
We are all staying home, and we are going to be tired of watching videos and everything else. This is the time to truly get ahead of your weeds this year. All that all of the quackgrass that has invaded your beds, the things that you've wanted to get rid of, this is the year to do it because you have 2 weeks now with nothing to do.
Yeah.
So everyone will have fabulous yards this year.
I did. I heeded your advice, and I put my yard to bed. I don't have a lot of plants outside. I have a big oak tree, and that's about it. But I put my yard to bed correctly. I did all the right things, and I didn't mow it too low, before the frost and the snow came. I cleaned it up. It's ready to go. My yard hasn't looked this good this time of the year, and it has in a long time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so things you can do. This is the time to prune and fertilize your roses and your raspberries and your blueberries. And you need to cut out the old canes in the raspberries, and you cut the top 4 inches off each cane because then that promotes lateral growth, and the berries are only produced on lateral growth. And on your blueberries, you want to take out the oldest canes because you want to have the promotion of it produces fruit on new canes.
How aggressive do you want to be with your roses?
We haven't. My roses hardly lost any leaves, but something that's really some people don't want to do. They go, well, the leaves are still good, but last year's leaves could be hiding mildew spores and insect eggs, and so. Again, we have plenty of time because we have nothing else to do. So you go out and you cut off all the old leaves, okay? Cut them off. Don't tear them off because if you tear them off, you're going to tear the buds. And so cut them off, and then you could still do a lime sulfur spray to make sure that you got rid of the mildew spores because that's a thing that people complain about a lot.
Yeah.
And you can prune them any way you want. But something that's really interesting? You need to know what kind of rose you have before you prune it. People, well, I have this rose bush. How do I prune it? I go, Floribunda, hybrid tea, shrub rose. What is it? Well, so you have to wait till it blooms. And when it blooms, you can ask people who know about those sorts of things what kind of rose this is, and you can do a midsummer pruning, and it won't hurt it at all.
It is too early for annuals.
Yes, I mean, and all those bare root things. So the soil is barely 50, barely. It really is in the 40s. And the roots are the most sensitive part of a plant. So buying those things and putting them out right now, it's just not a good idea. But it is time to plant your vegetable seedlings if you want to do. And I like planting vegetables from seed rather than buying a pack of them. because I then have seeds left over in August for my winter garden.
That's right.
And just this last week, we had the last of the carrots. I made pickled beets from the last of the beets. And what else did we have in the garden? I had carrots and potatoes. I dug the last of the stored potatoes. Ooh, they were so sweet and so wonderful.
In all my experience, the instructions on the back of the packet are usually pretty much spot on, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, they want you to succeed in growing your potatoes and your carrots and
That's
stuff like
right. But here's the deal. If you're going to grow tomatoes, you have, then in 6 weeks you can put them out. But you don't want to plant most things like corn and beans and cucumbers and all sorts of things like that. The soil has to be 50. Okay? Or excuse me, I said that wrong. The soil has to be 70.
70.
Soil, not air temperature.
And we're a long way before the soil temperatures are going to be 70.
That's going to be mid-May.
Yeah.
So just don't waste the seed. Okay.
Yeah.
You could plant peas now, and you can wait for 2 weeks. If you plant peas now, that you will have about maybe 60% germination. But if you wait until the soil is in the true 50s, you'll have much greater germination.
Well, it should be pointed out, and Bonnie's mentioned this before, Garden Center is going to be opening, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be selling the kinds of trees and shrubs and bushes for you to plant now, because there's like, here they are, come get them, because when people buy them, they want to plant them.
Yes, right, and then so we won't have them later,
Yeah.
but this is the same thing. We won't have toilet paper later either.
What about, I mentioned trees and shrubs, can we plant those now?
The soil is too cold.
Still too
Remember,
cold.
the roots are okay. So the beginning of May is the time to plant it.
Okay.
So we are not having. I'm president of the Arbor Day group. We are not going to have the distribution in April this year.
Okay. Are there tulips coming up yet? I don't have tulips anymore.
Yes, they are. They are coming up, and we're too late to fertilize them. Normally, you fertilize them when they first have the first 2 inches above ground, but mine are probably 6 inches up now. So, I missed that early one. Soil temperature.
It's everything.
I can't stress this enough. And you can buy an instant read thermometer for about $10. Okay, and you use that, and that is how you determine how you are going to plant and how you're going to fertilize.
But you also have to put it down at the same depth that it's supposed to be planted at, right? Or does it really matter?
My probe is 6 inches, and the roots are going to grow to 6 inches eventually.
Okay.
So
So that's just a good safe rule of thumb. Yeah. Get ahead of the weeds. This is a perfect time to do that.
It is.
Yeah.
And Easter is going to be in a few weeks, and many people get Easter lilies. You can plant those out in the garden. You plant them in the garden. You cut the spent flowers. You plant them in the garden, and they will bloom again for you. Most likely, the green part, the stems will die, but then they sprout again, and they will bloom for you in September, which is their normal time to bloom in nature.
What a lot of people take their healthy outdoor plants, they put them inside.
I did the same thing.
Where soil temperature really is an issue. When can you bring them back outside? Because they're not going to be planted; they're just going to stay in planters.
It's nighttime temperatures.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't want nighttime temperatures below 50. So.
And this is the time of the year where the temperatures can really swing.
Right.
We can have overnight lows below 30s, and we can see afternoon highs in the 60s.
Our nighttime temperatures will not be below. Will not be above 50 probably till May.
Okay. And does that put a great deal of stress on almost every kind of plant?
Yes.
These huge temperature variations that we get this time of the year?
What happens is it shuts down at night, and then it takes a great deal of time during the day to warm up, and then it has to shut down again. So it is really hard.
A lot of people still, although there's a program that's out there now, and I don't have the exact information in front of me, and I apologize for that. People who still have backyard trees, cherry trees, apple trees, they've been there forever, apricot trees, what have you. A lot of people are getting rid of them. There are groups out there that will come and get rid of it for free because we don't want to spread the bad stuff around to our orchardist friends.
You're required to spray your and if you've missed the window, I think you can still do maybe some dormant spray. I don't think all the buds are totally open yet. I'm not sure. I haven't been out to see an orchard, but for sure in May you need to do the sprays for cherries and apples, and also, the dormant sprays, many people don't do them, and in February this year was the time to do them. You can have really wonderful peaches, but if you have all sorts of borers and all
Yeah.
sorts of other fungal diseases, then why even have a peach tree?
And
if you
that
don't
makes
do it?
perfect sense. I had a
Yeah.
plum tree, and I love plums, but I couldn't handle all of those damn plums. And before you know it, they're on the ground, and they're rotting on the ground, and it's just
Right.
same
So-
deal with apricots.
Yeah,
and-
Why have a fruit tree unless you have dozens of friends who love apricots? Truly.
What else is on your mind?
Besides being able to do that, the spray schedules for the fruit, noxious weeds and obnoxious weeds, because there are weeds like that are not on the list that are still weeds, and they come up probably toward the end of April, beginning of May, and when they are in the small stage, that's when you can just sort of scrape them up, and you look for places. Last year the Russian thistle, the tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Okay. Last year, a piece about this big, a little piece of dried stuff, landed in my yard, and I went over and picked it up at the end of April, and there were 40 new little plants coming out of that teeny weeny little piece.
They get a toehold wherever they can.
That's right. Anyway,
Yeah.
scraping them up is much easier to do, and you don't have to use chemicals and things like that. Because they're annuals also. But getting them at the rosette stage, it's important to stay on top of noxious weeds. And it is obnoxious weeds also. You don't want your neighbors.
Pull them up or kill them with a herbicide.
Well, the thing is that when they're young, it's just a matter of pulling them, know. So, because one of the things is that here's what happens is that people many times want to use an herbicide and they spray, and then what happens is that a little puff of wind comes up, and lo and behold, the maple tree not too far away has a dead section. I mean, and if it's too hot, it volatilizes. So, and you have to be dressed appropriately to use those things. So why not just use the hoe?
A couple of quick items before we cut you loose. I know you're busy. The Noxious Weed Control Board is a governmental agency, and because of the recent COVID-19 outbreak, they're actually closed for day-to-day business for the time being. But what about for your general garden questions? Can you still get a hold of various experts, or you just?
I think you just have to depend on yourself for now.
That's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Online resources are great, though.
That's right.
Yeah, online resources are good. Any particular websites that you would want to steer people to that is going to give you accurate information about things right now?
Well, I mean, for like the Noxious Weed Board, has a fabulous site which tells you what the plant looks like as a baby, when it first germinates, and then, as it grows as a rosette. So there's great pictures, and you can do a pretty accurate identification. So those websites, and I'm not sure what else. Okay, you could type in temperature for seeding things. I think if you just type in things, wonderful stuff comes up. If I was going to rely on information, I would go to an EDU site,
absolutely,
rather than a COM site, a com site, because it would maybe be more scientific based.
Yep. So to recap, it's too early for annuals. Soil temperature is everything.
I believe that.
Anything else before we send people out there to get their gardening going here?
This is the time to get ahead of your slugs.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason we never used to have slugs, but what happens is that garden centers of different kinds over the years have brought in plants from the other side where the slugs live, and their eggs were in the soil, and we now have slugs.
Jeez.
But that's okay. Yeah. But the slugs are under the ground. They live quite a ways under, sometimes a couple of feet under the ground, and if you kill 10 of them now, you will have eliminated more than 1,000 of them from your garden later.
Yeah, they like to.
They multiply very rapidly.
They multiply. They're worse than rabbits, as a matter of fact.
Yes, they are.
It's always good to see you, Bonnie.
Good.
Yay!
Lots of good things going on.
Lots of good things going on. And if you're homebound, and a lot of people are homebound because
everybody
of the
should be homebound.
Yeah, if you're not, you should be. Go out and get.
This is a great time to garden.
Do it. Yeah.
Great time to garden.
Because I've been putting it off and putting it off.
Yeah,
no excuse. Go out and do it.
And I've always wanted to have a flower bed there. This is it.
This is it.
Yeah.
Bonnie Orr, everybody, the Dirt Diva. Give her a big hand. Happy gardening. I will see you. Well, I'll see you before June 21st.
But we'll find out what's happening on June 21st.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's always good to see you, Bonnie.
Good to see you.
Happy vernal equinox.
Happy vernal equinox.
I love spring. It's one of my 4 favorite times of the year.
Indeed.
You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I-dos to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
We're sorry we missed you when the KPQ Home Expo was suspended last week, but we fully understand that the safety of the community comes first. These local businesses look forward to seeing you when the Home Expo is rescheduled or anytime you may need their services. Clean Connection, Osteo Strong, Apple Valley Pumping, Black Rock Asphalt Services, Swim World, Alpine Roofing, Berkshire Hathaway, A&G Brothers General Construction, and Steel Structures of America.
Yes, it's an instant replay. Our Stacy is misbehaving. Inside joke. Just got a brand new slide from the National Weather Service. It came down just a couple of minutes ago, and I wanted to pass this along to you. So take a look. See, here's your 4-day weather planner for today. Quite a bit of cloud cover. Whatever precipitation is going to come down today is going to be way over in extreme eastern Washington into the Idaho Panhandle. There it could even get a little bit of light snow. Not so much here. It's also going to be a little breezy at times today, and that windy conditions really off and on right through the weekend. Your weekend planner for Saturday and Sunday, a little bit of rain here in the Wenatchee Valley. The mountain passes are going to get some snow, especially on Monday, by the way. Highs will be in the mid-50s, it looks like, and breezy, as you can see, 10 to 15 mile an hour winds with gusts a little stronger at times on Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, it's going to be quite wet, it looks like. In fact, the best chance of rain here in the Wenatchee Valley is going to be Monday. It's also going to be a little breezy and quite a bit of snow expected into the Cascade Mountains, and highs will be just right around normal and windy in addition to the rain and the upper elevation snow expected on Monday. So there's your 4-day weather planner in a more specific rundown from the National Weather Service. Let's go day by day for your forecast. Hoping for a couple of sun breaks today. Outside of that, clouds are going to be the dominant weather today with a high right around 58 degrees. No rain in the forecast for the Wenatchee Valley, but again, far eastern Washington going to get a little drizzle or two. Also, wind out of the west, about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy tonight. Again, west wind, about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We'll get down to about 37 for the overnight low. No rain associated tonight. Start talking about a little bit of light rain possible on Saturday. Not a big chance. Saturday is going to be pretty much like today. Just maybe a little bit more of a chance of rain, a little bit warmer. High near 60, and again, a west wind on Saturday, about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Saturday night, the chance of rain goes up to 40%. We'll dip down to about 40 for the overnight low. Sunday morning, could get a little bit of light rain. Certainly cloudy again, and a high of about 58 degrees. Chance of rain on Sunday is about 40%. Chance of rain goes down Sunday night, and then the chance of rain goes up to 70%. So we're looking at a pretty wet Monday. Rain likely on Monday, lots of clouds. High of about 56 degrees. And then the rain should be lasting really into Monday evening with an overnight low of about 35. And then finally we'll see some sun again by the time we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Quick heads up if you're traveling over the major mountain passes. A little bit of snow today, a little bit of snow tonight, a little bit of snow Saturday. Hit and miss snow showers in the mountain passes through the weekend. And then on Monday, they're expecting a pretty good dose of snow, maybe upwards half a foot of snow. Pretty consistent snowfall expected in the mountain passes on Monday. So now you're in the loop. Everybody have a good and safe weekend. We will see you Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.